I'm proud to tell you that this video is going to be brought to you by G Fuel, and by using my affiliate link in the pinned comment and in the description box, you'll not only be helping support the channel since it's a affiliate link. I do get a small commission for each sale that's made, so I don't get anything unless you guys purchase it. However, you'll also be able to get some really cool anime themed merchandise as well as energy tubs and different energy formulas. I personally use G Fuel a lot, and when it comes to anime, there's a plethora of different anime to choose from. Dragon Ball Z, Naruto, My Hero Academia, Mobile Suit Gundam, Attack on Titan, and so many other series are available on the website in the form of energy formulas packed with all the vitamins that you need and just enough caffeine to get you going for your day, which most importantly, this cannot be understated. Unlike a lot of energy products that are out there, there is no crash and there is zero sugar. Two really huge selling points of why I personally support G Fuel. And they've even got energy themed hydration formulas filled with electrolytes. In typical anime fashion, I am going to need you guys to send me your energy by clicking the affiliate link in the description and in the pinned comment, so you can buy whatever anime themed product you want. It doesn't have to be Naruto, it can be whatever anime strikes your fancy, and when you do so, make sure to use my promo code KAGE to get yourself a discount. Yo, what's going on everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explain here, bringing you guys another Boruto 2 Blue Vortex discussion. Today, I want to talk to you guys about a plot point from Boruto getting shot by Jura that I thought deserved to be brought to your attention, because the sudden shifting of the gears in terms of how Boruto is now suddenly being viewed as a threat by Jura, who needs to be disposed of, which is why in today's newest Naruto Explain video, I want to discuss the reason why I truly believe Jura has just made a huge mistake in not killing Boruto when he had the rare chance to do so. Now look, just to be clear, I'm not going to be giving some lazy answer of, bruh, Boruto's the main character, so Boruto can't die. And of course, not killing Boruto, it is a mistake because he is the main character, bruh. What are you talking about? So we're going to go a little bit deeper here beneath the surface, so bear with me. So we're not going to go with a low effort response like that. It's fine to do the memes and the jokes and to animate this scene and have like Boruto, Naruto Next Generation's opening music playing, comeback season, whatever you want to do, but not so much for a serious decision, which is what I want to have with this video. So while main characters, they can die in series, including battle shonen, and they can stay dead at that. Outside of a couple of small red flags I've seen for Boruto, which might end up being a misdirection, I don't think Boruto's going to join that list of shonen who have had the balls to stick the middle finger up to fans by killing the main character for the sake of the author using the max impact to deliver the payoff that they want for the story. I don't think we go the route of how Jujutsu Kaisen early on has alluded to the potential, this ain't a spoiler, but alluded to the potential that Yuji's gonna die at the end of the series. So while Boruto does walk lines, it for the most part still has a lot of the elements that you would expect from a gateway shonen series, which that is what Boruto is. For a pretty large number of fans, this is their first dive into reading manga. So while I don't rule out we get the killing off of a primary main character, if you put a pistol to my head, I'm gonna say that we're gonna stay out of that realm unless it goes to the bittersweet ending approach that we got with Samurai 8, which I will touch on later in the video. So the reason I think that Jura made a mistake in not killing Boruto, it comes down to a few key things. So the first is that Jura correctly made the calculation that Boruto was someone strong enough that he needed to be concerned with his rapid ascension, in the sense that Boruto possesses the knowledge that runs counter to the goals of Jura and the Shinju, despite Boruto being the person who the Shinju are hunting, which means that they are the ones who are in the power position as the hunters and Boruto being the prey. Things have not shaped up that way at all. In fact, very slowly, it is turning out to be the opposite. Boruto is now slowly becoming the one who is doing the hunting of the Ten Tails in Jura. He realizes that. See, all throughout Boruto 2 Blue Vortex, we've seen Jura be positioned as someone who is an avid consumer of knowledge. He likes to read books and consume information of differing opinions the way that I like to, which this is not going to be a sponsorship plug, but it's the same way I like to take classes on Skillshare, because I value learning new things and hearing from others, even on a subject that I'm well versed in, because you never know what someone else's perspective has to offer for you. For example, in the Patreon Discord server, one of my patrons pulled up a scan about Ada's character from the Code of Sword arc when we were discussing Ada that I totally missed at the time, and I've reread that arc 3 times since it's been out, and I missed what he gave me. I wouldn't have gained that information unless my patron said, hey, I think you're right about this, but I also think you missed something, and they pulled up a scan. Obviously, Jura, he's not in a Discord server, but we've seen him rapidly consume information and not just read it to read it. He has been reading to understand the information, then apply it to real world concepts. And that, my friends, is a true sense and a true sign of mastery. When Jura first saw Boruto, he was completely unbothered. It was like there was nothing special about Boruto he needed to worry about, because to Jura, he was just someone he could track down at any time and devour like he needed to whenever he wanted. He said Boruto could run, but he couldn't hide because they would find him. He said that the only reason Boruto was even allowed to live is because the awakened Shinju were too wrapped up in their own ego at the time, which is why they allowed Boruto the chance to escape via flying Raijin. They even began going on side quests like they were playing an open world RPG, deviating from the main story to explore the world out there, which is how Hidari was after Sarada and Jura and Himawari. But now everything has changed. Boruto's knowledge of the Thorn Soul bulbs, what they can be used for, and his own warning of code that the Shinju awakening could be something that leads to the worst possible future outcome, is dropping breadcrumbs that there's more information that Boruto possesses, from the knowledge about the Thorn Souls to how to destroy the Ten Tails main body, and potentially even more than that. Someone who Jura thought was a deer running away in the wild, trying not to get shot, that he could just go hunt for sport whenever he felt like it. That's now the deer holding the rifle that's hunting down the hunter instead. Boruto, who was primarily shown being focused on retrieving the Thorn Soul that belonged to Hidari. But Boruto correctly said without saying Boruto's a threat, because even though the story isn't spoon-feeding you the answer, it's taking the approach of Jujutsu Kaisen and Bleach where it drops breadcrumbs for you to figure it out. Boruto isn't going to stop at just Hidari's Thorn Soul that has Sasuke's chakra. He's going to end up going after the others as well, which it follows a very similar common storytelling aspect that we've seen in manga, particularly with mangaka who are heavily inspired by Akira Toriyama. So people from the generation of Kishimoto, Ikimoto, Toyotaro, Eiichiro Oda, Hiro Mashima. It's adding the very subtle elements of something like Journey to the West and Sun Wukong, the hunt for something beyond one's own home territory, a mystical quest and adventure. Boruto going after the Thorn Souls before there's another twist with the Ten Tails. It falls in line with that and the folklore that inspired Momoshiki's character, the story of Momotaro. And it's important to realize that and understand the information before going into why Jura was made and why he made a mistake in not killing Boruto. In the Momotaro folktale, the thing that we see is that Momotaro, the Peach Boy, ends up going out away from his home village and returning with allies, namely a monkey and a peasant and a couple of animals that I can't recall off the top of my head. I believe one of them was a dog, if I'm not mistaken. Basically, all the animals that Momoshiki uses in the Boruto movie when he fights Naruto and Sasuke. The point is that Momotaro returns home as a hunter to defeat the ogres that are terrorizing the area. The Otsutsuki clan, they've been written as parasitic aliens, but they've also been written as ogres, with the latter description coming from all the light novels. But we've seen it in nearly all instances, similar to how the roles with Ashura and Indra, where when Kishimoto ends up borrowing stuff, he ends up reversing it. The same is true for the folklore with all the Otsutsuki. They're all based off of folklore heroes, but they're all bad guys in Boruto. Boruto, as the vessel of Momoshiki, he's splitting the baby here. By not getting killed, he's getting the chance to recreate and reconstruct his forces and eventually go on the offensive. And that goes back to what Kashin Koji said in chapter 4, which is that it's now time for them to go to war. And based on everything we've seen with Kashin Koji in the past, he understands the key rules of war that Sun Tzu talks about in The Art of War, and that Robert Greene talks about in the 33 Strategies of War, which is that you plan all the way into the end. The way that the other variables that pop up when they do happen, you can adjust your plan accordingly. There's no reason to believe that Boruto and Kashin Koji haven't already come up with a contingency plan for what's going on with the awakened Shinju and their continued evolution. They're going to add what Jura just did to their equation now. For Jura, this was his one chance, probably his best chance at taking down Boruto. Because what Jura did is basically the equivalent of someone using a hidden jutsu like the Shadow Possession Jutsu, or using a Kekkei Genkai like the Sharingan. Those are supposed to be trump cards that you pull out to completely kill your enemy or completely destroy your enemy. in terms of defeating them and subduing them. If they survive, they have time to reflect on what happened and come up with adjustments. Classic example being how Zabuza only needed to see Kakashi use the Sharingan once in battle before he was able to return for the rematch, with a couple of very sound strategies to combat the usage of the Sharingan because he saw enough to make his plan. Over and over, it gets stressed. Don't use your jutsu or your powers recklessly. Don't reveal your powers so easily. Something that even a non-shinobi like Ada understands when she refuses to allow Damon to reveal to Code the extent of their powers, because she was already in possession of a contingency plan to kill Code in the event he failed to live up with the bargain on his end, which is why she kept her cards close to the vest. Boruto survived his attack, and by surviving, assuming that they make Jura retreat, he now knows that Jura can start shooting off bijuu damas like a sniper from a long-range distance. For someone like Boruto who possesses the flying raijin, that information, it is more invaluable than you guys realize, because it means he can take the time to make the necessary adjustments to start using the flying raijin in a more effective way to make it harder for him to be hit. It means something like Boruto, who is using the talents of his genius genetics, he's going to start looking at his weaknesses the way that Neji did in real time when he had the Byakugan and he was fighting Kidomaru of the Sound 4. Neji saw the blind spot, it had been discovered, and it was being exploited. Instead of panicking, Neji took the time to self-reflect mid-battle, and he found a way to turn a weakness into a strength, which was releasing his chakra out of his chakra points throughout his entire body, so that the moment that one of those spiderweb arrows got shot at him, he could sense it when it was breaking through the chakra and make the split-second decision that made the difference between life and death. At the end of Boruto Naruto Next Generations, he said that he was the grandson of the fourth Hokage, and now he's returned with the Flying Raijin Jutsu, a jutsu that was the signature of his grandfather that nobody even brings up Tobirama created because Minato was just that much of a badass with it. So he also said that he is the son of the seventh Hokage, and after that he came back with a rasengan that's so super overpowered to a point it can destroy, when used at full power, a being who can regenerate. It can destroy him in one shot at full power. Almost fully completed, and he left only the head of Hidari, part of his shoulder, and part of his torso. The rasengan was a signature jutsu of Naruto. He said that he was someone who had the blood of a Hyuga in his veins. The only thing left now is for him to improve upon something that the Hyuga clan has. While Boruto himself never awakened his own Byakugan, it is worth noting that when Boruto is in his true essence of Karma and he has the Byakugan, he's never used it in battle. It's been there, but he's never used the powers. We never see the veins of the Byakugan active. It's also worth noting Boruto has been trained in the gentle fist fighting style in terms of taijutsu movements, but again, because he doesn't have the Byakugan, he cannot target the chakra points themselves, but things like the movements and expelling chakra from every point of his body, there are things Boruto can do. I think Jura made a mistake by not killing Boruto because there's something related to the Hyuga that Boruto is going to be able to apply in an unorthodox manner, which will allow for him to begin countering Jura's sniper bijuu jutsu. Now, I'll close out with this. So, longtime viewers, you guys heard me say before, we can't rule out a Samurai 8 style ending adjusted to fit to the world of Naruto. It's not the craziest thing to start the conversation of if Boruto ends up with an ending where he ascends to a higher plane where he no longer needs a body, the same way that Hachimaru did with Samurai 8, and the same way that Shibai was stated to have done in Boruto. There's a lot about the Otsutsuki that we don't know in terms of lore, and Boruto's words about saying dying in Konoha is fine, but not in that very moment when Kawaki said, "I'm gonna kill you, Boruto." A character in Boruto who was blessed with limited future sight, I think, unlike Momoshiki, because of the experiences that Boruto's lived, because of Boruto's personality, if there's something that is linked to his future in the Shinju like Jura, Boruto won't be above doing what's required if it means he can benefit others. What Jura is in the process of doing is learning that with a prodigy, you often don't get a second chance, and the next time he tries to use that sniper jutsu, Boruto's likely going to have a counter that shocks him the same way this anime explained video on the left is packed with a lot of lore that will shock you, and over here on the right, we have a Naruto explained video that YouTube says you guys should probably check out.